With two big names out of the 2012 presidential race, a big-time underdog might be catching fire. Herman Cain polling toward the top of the pack in the key caucus state of Iowa, right behind Mitt Romney, tied with Sarah Palin and ahead of Newt Gingrich in this poll. Now, this poll does not include some of the other long-shot candidates, but it's turning some heads, and Herman Cain's with us today, a successful businessman out of Atlanta, Georgia, now a presidential candidate. How you doing? Good morning to you.
I'm doing great, Bill. Thanks. Happy to be here.
You've been to Iowa 18 times, and you
Yes.
know what it takes, I do believe, after watching other candidates go through this process. You have to live in that state for about a year, because that's what people in Iowa, that's what they demand in order to get their attention, and have you convince them that you're serious. Now, if the polling that we just showed is accurate, what's happening in Iowa that's giving you attention?
I am in Iowa a lot, meeting with groups large and small, introducing them to my common sense agenda, and also giving them an opportunity to meet and get to know me. That's one of the advantages of states like Iowa and New Hampshire. You have to get to know the voters up close and personal, and they're getting to know me up close and personal. When I ran for the Senate in 2004, Bill, two lessons I took away from that. If I ever run for office again, start early and hire good people early. So I started going to Iowa at the end of last year, and it's starting to pay off because people know me because they have met me, not because I had high name ID because of, like some of the other candidates.
All right, now we have to talk about solutions here to this country's economic issues.
Yes.
We got numbers out about 2 hours ago in the jobs picture for the past week. An additional 422,000 Americans filed for first-time jobless claims. That number, as you know, is way too high. What would Herman Cain do to lower that?
Herman Cain would do two things, phase one and phase two. In phase one, I would lower the top corporate tax rate from 35 to 25%. We're the only nation on the planet that hasn't lowered its top corporate tax rate. I would also lower the top personal income tax rate to 25%. Both of those numbers, by the way, coincide with what's in Ryan's plan. Secondly, take capital gains tax rates to zero. Zero. Don't just reduce it, because you see, this is how we generate cash and equity for small businesses and new ventures. Thirdly, provide a full payroll tax holiday for a year for workers and employers of the full 6.2%. Then fourth, suspend taxes on repatriated foreign profits. We have, it's estimated, nearly $1 trillion in overseas businesses, and some of the businesses would bring it back home, but they are trying to avoid double taxation. And then, Bill, we put a bow around those four ideas, make them permanent. Uncertainty is what's killing this economy. Uncertainty is what's causing the job numbers you have shown to stay that way. And quite frankly and unfortunately, nothing's going to change with the current policies of this administration. So
you're saying that the indecision that's coming out of Washington is paralyzing America. You believe that?
I absolutely believe that. For the Congress to pass a budget when the fiscal year is half over is irresponsible. To wait until the 11th hour to try and decide on raising the debt limit. By the way, I don't believe we need to raise the debt limit. We need to pay those things that need to get paid first and do some serious cutting. Of course, this is creating uncertainty. And this is why businesses are not investing the way they could if we did some of the direct things that I described. Not indirect, direct. And that's the advantages of phase one of what Herman Cain would do as president.
Okay.
And then quickly, phase two would be to totally replace the tax code, totally replace it with the fair tax, which is a national consumption tax. I would do that in the second 2 years of my administration.
While you were talking there, we're looking at the debt clock, and it's truly staggering, $14.4 trillion. I mean, who can get their head around that number? It's absolutely stunning. John Boehner wants to get all this debt ceiling issue solved this month, in the month of June. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But we'd like to bring you back and continue our discussion here, because I'm always curious to know, as an outsider, what you find is the biggest challenge to break through. I mean, it's a big country, and you got to communicate big ideas to get us out of the hole. So we'll see what your solutions are on that next time around. Herman Cain, thank you. Out of Atlanta today.
Thanks, Bill.
The former CEO of Godfather's Pizza.